Alright, boys and boys, because let's face it, no girls watch dudes doing fitness on YouTube. So it's just a bunch of dudes watching this, and by a bunch I mean like 3. But boys and boys, it's a strength workout. And I'm probably just going to do back offsets today. Part of being in your mid-30s, early mid-30s at 34. It just sounds better in my own head. You just kind of randomly wake up and your knee hurts a little bit. So I'm not going to go too heavy on squats today, but I am going to do some squats because it's been a while and I just need to do it. Just to man up, not be a bitch. Just get in here and do it. I think this will be video number 17. I was hoping I would have a little bit better idea of what I'm doing with these videos, but I don't. It's hard to figure out how to bring value to you. Gotta keep trying. The only way you can figure it out is through trying, and that's not the only way, but it kind of sounds better. I could have somebody show me. I don't even know who, but I'm sure I could find somebody out there. Anyway, strength workout. Let's do it. So because my body feels like it needs a little bit of a break from the super heavy lifting, I'm just going to be sticking to RPE stuff of probably about a 5 or 6. I just do about 5 reps, maybe 4 or 5 sets of, at the very least, squats and bench press. I might do a little bit more. I need to do some shoulder stuff, so that'll probably be what it be. Will be squats, bench press, and overhead press. We'll just stick with that. If you've never gone down the rabbit hole of trying to look at how many different successful YouTube channels there are out there, it's a pretty big rabbit hole, but it's pretty amazing how many different methods there are to getting a lot of subscribers and a lot of views. If you've never started a YouTube channel before, it's pretty weird. This is my second time that I've gone about 2 months into a YouTube channel. Last time it didn't work out, but it's tough getting to this point because you go into it with the mindset of like, okay, I'm playing the years game. If it takes years and years, and it takes that long, but it's so hard not to get into the trap of you only have a few subscribers, or I've been doing it for 2 months. I feel like I should know better, especially when I'm the kind of person that does give myself a lot of grief after I've been doing something for a couple months. Normally, I'm very patient with myself at the very beginning because, at least the smart part of my brain understands that I'm a beginner and I'm going to suck at it. And then for some stupid reason, the stupid part of my brain takes over after 2 months, and it's like, what? You're not a master right now? You're not a pro at this? What have you been doing? You fucking suck. So that's where we are with this, trying to just overcome the internal demons that are constantly present. But I just got to keep showing up. The worst case scenario, I guess, is that nobody follows, but I still get to get stronger and still get to explore new ways to try and talk to you and see in which ways I can improve unexpectedly. So if you've been thinking about starting something like this, just go do it. You're probably doing something stupid with your time anyway. Who doesn't doom scroll these days? I don't even like that term because it's the pride in me. It's like, oh, I don't doom scroll, but I definitely do, and you probably do too. So maybe cut it in half and just go do something. Anytime I've listened to somebody talk about how to get good at making videos, and these are people that have proven how to do it just by the absurd amount of money that they're making online with their followers and views, they talk about how you just have to get good. But the tough part of that for me is trying to pick somewhat of a direction that I want to go in with these videos, and I'm sure that if you've done this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you suck at something, how do you know what you're going to be able to do to be able to provide value to somebody? So it's weird spending so much time on internal conflict of, okay, how do I provide value to somebody when I kind of feel like I don't have any value to provide, and that the reception of the videos that I put out so far are proof of that in a sense. And obviously got to give myself grace. It has only been 2 months, but you know, when you kind of doing research into other channels and how they do things, there are plenty of channels out there that have only been active for a couple months that do really high quality videos and are able to get a lot of subscribers pretty quickly. I know a lot of these are second channels and people that have a lot of experience in doing these kind of things, but it's tough because you don't want to suck, but you suck, and you don't want to come across like you suck to other people. And yet here I am talking about how much I suck in a straight way, you know, not a gay way, but a straight way of sucking. But the one thing that I keep coming back to with what I want to do is to just be authentic. So since that's actually kind of easy to do, and people do seem to appreciate authenticity, and I like authenticity, then I'll just lean on that for now, and I'll just talk to you about what's going on through my mind. And you go and do research on enough videos, there are plenty of YouTubers out there that just talk about what's on their mind, and they get a ton of people that want to listen to them. So maybe one day I'll be one of those people. We'll see. To find the balance in fitness of when to push yourself and when to back off is pretty tough. I'm sure someday I'll get good at it, but I have only been working out consistently for 5 years, which doesn't sound very long compared to what a lot of people do. But today there's so many. Every day I'm tired, just like everybody else. But it's tough to not want to just go into the gym and try and kill yourself, metaphorically speaking, of course. But even today, probably 30 minutes before I started working out, I was about to pass out. But I was like, gotta do it, gotta go work out. So I chugged the pre-workout and get in here anyway. But despite feeling that way, you still just want to go hard. And it's probably a good thing that I didn't. I'm using what's normally about my 10 rep max right now. I'm trying to keep the RPEs low. So normally I would be doing this with 9 to 10 reps, RPE about a 9. But I'm just trying to do 5 reps and keep the RPE around a 5. But I'm still bouncing up into that 7 range. So I think today is one of those good days, making a call of just take it easy, but get some work in. Just try and get a little bit better. Fitness is so interesting in how many different ways you can achieve good results. I've listened to people talk about how they swear you don't ever want to push yourself too hard because it limits the amount of reps that you can do in a week. For example, if you go in and you're doing curls and you do 10 sets to failure, then you're probably going to have to recover for a week and a half before you get back in. But if you do lighter reps that just don't hurt you as much, or less reps, then you can do curls 3 times a week, and you're obviously drastically increasing the volume and the amount that you do curls. And I think if you are trying to do something specifically, if you're trying to become a pro bodybuilder or an elite bodybuilder, then you really do have to make sure that you're going to failure, because that's just the only way that you're going to put on size. But if your goal is just to get healthy and get in better shape, there's so many different ways that you can do it, even with the weightlifting. I think that ultimately just shows how important consistency is. That's like that underlying foundation of anything, but talking about fitness here, as long as you're just showing up and putting in a good effort and you're doing it regularly, minimum 3 times a week, I think, then you're going to see improvements, you're going to feel good, and you're going to get some results. Really unfortunate how much drama sells on YouTube or anything. But the bad kind of drama, I think, there's fun drama in TV shows and even on YouTube where people kind of go back and forth. But I think a lot of it's just so petty. This ties into different methods of achieving results that you want that I was talking about. But it's funny how many YouTube videos there are out there of people just calling what other people do complete trash and fake and it doesn't work. And some of them are even the ones that have been tried and true methods for decades that clearly work, that people are like, no, this doesn't work. It just seems like clickbait stuff to me. But unfortunately, drama sells, and I don't really ever plan on bringing drama to this channel, so I'm gonna have to find another way to sell you. And my best theory so far of making that happen is just really lock it in on the chin here. You know, I've got a pretty mediocre chin, so I think you're gonna find that fascinating. I'm trying to be as explosive as possible coming out of the bottom of these presses, just because when I'm trying to 1 rep max, I tend to get stuck about 6 to 8 inches off my chest. So I'm really trying to strengthen that lower position of the chest, even though maybe I should be focusing more on the mid position of the chest. But hey, that's what I feel like doing today. I'm not in any rush, just having fun with it. It's funny how in this video I've talked about ways to improve and get views and provide benefits to people through this. But if I were in your position, I would find what I'm doing very boring, most likely, which is pretty ironic. But there are people out there that do a similar, at least in my mind, similar style that people really like. I mean, the best example that I can think of who's super popular right now is Sam Sulik. I don't find his stuff entertaining, but a lot of people do. But on the flip side of this, I actually really enjoy filming this type of content because it's just nice to just kind of chill and work out and just kind of talk to you about what's on my mind. And people appreciate that. I don't know if it's just lonely people or just, I don't know, people clicking with my personality. If you're watching at this point, you can definitely tell me in the comments. Man, even saying that sounds, I guess it's maybe too prideful. I mean, I feel like I'm begging for comments just by saying that, but I would genuinely like to know what you think. If you find this style entertaining at all, or if you think that I don't know what I'm talking about yet, but you find other people that do similar styles where it's just kind of, hey, let's hang out, chill, and work out together, I'd like to know. So let me know. All right, these lighter weights on the bench press are going to be focusing more around that mid-range. So I just call these sticky point reps. So I'm going to stop in like that 6 to 7 inch range and just focus more on building strength in that area. I'm keeping the RPE relatively low on these still. That probably felt like about a 7. One thing I really like about these sticky point reps is it seems to really expose any imbalances that you have in your press. You know, if you tend to shift too far to one side, or if you have a tendency to push one side of the bar out before the other. I noticed when I first started doing these that when I was at the bottom, I would get uneven, and I think it was my right side would be lower than my left side trying to come out of it. And you can really feel that on sticky point reps. Because overhead press is clearly my worst exercise, worst lift, I get easily impressed with what people can do. I remember a couple years ago seeing somebody just pick up 100-pound dumbbells in each arm and start doing like reps of 10 in overhead press. And my push press PR right now is 155. Excuse me, 155. So I'm nowhere close to being able to do something like that. And it's crazy. It's hard not to beat yourself up comparing yourself to people like that. But comparison is really just the thief of joy if you attach negative emotions to it. So I try not to do that. But beating yourself up is not always a bad thing. You know, it's something that helps push yourself and to help yourself grow. But it is tough to find that balance of pushing yourself in a positive way and then beating yourself up in a negative way. And one of my personal goals with this channel is to better figure out how to do that. With the overhead press, I am utilizing that method of trying to do more sets and reps in a week, because when I was doing the type of training that I'm doing with the bench, the squat, and the deadlift, I'm just plateauing way too hard on the shoulder press, so I'm changing it up, see if I just get better results doing it with that. But when I'm trying to jump in increments of 10, because with the plates that I have, I have to do that with shoulder press, I should just cop out and get, I don't know why I said cop out, it's not a cop out, I should just get 2.5 pound dumbbells or barbells. I'm an idiot. Plates, you know, the things that you eat off of, I should get more of those to put on here so that I can actually jump up in 5 pounds on the shoulder press rather than 10, because obviously with the shoulder muscle being a smaller muscle group compared to the other ones that I just mentioned, it's going to be harder to make those increments. I talk like an idiot. Sorry for yelling at you. I'm just yelling at myself. Well, that's all, folks. Cartoon Network and Looney Tunes, don't sue me. It's probably trademarked, but don't sue me. We'll call it that. Hopefully I'll be back out with another one tomorrow, because it's the freaking weekend. And I tell you what a good life goal would be, is to be able to look forward to Monday through Friday like you look forward to Saturday and Sunday. At least if you work a kind of traditional job like I do, you probably are just counting down the days to Friday and Saturday. But man, wouldn't it be cool to just be able to get excited for Monday like you do for Saturday? I think it's possible. Maybe I'm just an optimist. Maybe I don't have myself in the right situation, or maybe I'm just unable to consistently focus on the things that are important, like the reason why I have a job, to be able to provide for the people I care about and to create a better future for myself. So yeah, that could be something good to work on. If you like the idea of that, then you go work on it. You do it, because you can do it. I believe in you. But I think that's all that I've got for today. So thanks for sticking around. See ya.